My parents refused to pay for my college and secretly spent my $60,000 fund on my brother's wedding. But what happened next left them begging me for mercy. I'm a 21-year-old, and my family situation went from kind of crappy to nuclear meltdown in the span of a few months. Looking back now, I can see all the red flags, but when you're in the middle of it, not so much. It all started the summer after high school graduation. I was actually pretty excited about starting university in the fall. I'd picked a place close to home because, let's be real, university is expensive as hell, and commuting seemed like the smart move. I had some money saved up from my part-time job at this local garage where I'd been working on cars. I've always been into that stuff, and I figured with a little help from my parents, I'd be able to make it work. Yeah, about that help part. One night in July, my parents sat me down at our kitchen table. I thought it was going to be one of those standard "we're so proud of you" talks parents give after graduation. Instead, I got hit with what I now call the "you're an adult now" speech. "Jake," my mom started, folding her hands on the table, all serious like, "you're an adult now, and your father, and I think it's time you start taking responsibility for yourself." Dad nodded along. "We've decided we won't be paying for your university expenses. Not tuition, not books, not gas for commuting. Not because we don't want to, but because it's important you learn the value of money." I just sat there, blinking, thinking this had to be some kind of weird joke. But nope, they were dead serious. Then my dad, who's usually the quiet one, dropped another bomb. "And if you want to continue living here, you'll need to start paying rent, plus your own groceries. It's only fair." Fair? I was literally sitting in the same kitchen where they still had my height markers penciled on the wall from when I was a kid. I was still sleeping in my childhood bedroom with model cars I built when I was 12 displayed on the shelves, and now they wanted me to pay rent? For some context, my parents aren't struggling for cash. My mom's a high school English teacher, and my dad's an accountant at a local firm. They live in a decent 3-bedroom house in an okay neighborhood. They make ends meet, but there's not a ton left over. Still, they definitely weren't asking for rent because they desperately needed the money. This was clearly some twisted life lesson they decided I needed to learn. One they never bothered teaching Tyler. Meanwhile, my older brother Tyler, 25, male, has always been the golden child of the family. Football star in high school. Good-looking, charismatic, the whole package. Everyone loves Tyler, especially my parents, who have never held him to the same standards as me. The thing about Tyler though, is he's useless when it comes to actual adult responsibilities. Since graduating college, which my parents fully paid for, by the way, he's bounced between like 6 different jobs, never staying anywhere longer than a few months because his boss was unbearable or the job was beneath him or whatever excuse he came up with. But there he was, living in our parents' basement rent-free whenever he was between apartments, getting constant handouts whenever he needed the latest iPhone or wanted to take his girlfriend Melissa, 24, female, on some fancy date.